A big, ugly battle over the big, beautiful bill. President Trump and Elon Musk's war of words reaching a fever pitch today. And today, President Trump was asked about that.
He hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. I think he got out there and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office, and he's got nice offices too, but there's something about this one.
And it didn't take long for Musk to respond, taking to X to say, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House, and Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude. And that was all it took to get the back and forth going. President Trump threatening Musk's government contracts, writing on Truth Social. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was surprised that Biden didn't do it. And in another post, Elon was wearing thin, wrote Trump. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. It did not stop there, though. Elon writing, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Seems a Rubicon that Elon Musk has crossed, that it appears it's hard to see a path forward for these two to repair their relationship. This is not a story that anyone was looking for. Perhaps somewhat predictable with two big personalities.
If you pick Shapiro or anybody else, I spoke to him recently about his house being set on fire, which was terrible. But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything.
It is the Trump travel ban 2.0 in the wake of the horrific firebomb terror attack against a Jewish gathering in Boulder, Colorado, done at the hands of an illegal immigrant who overstayed his visa. President Trump is issuing a sweeping new travel ban that covers 12 countries and partially restricts entry to the U.S. from 7 others. Earlier, he explained why in the Oval.
It can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out one by one, and we're not stopping until we get them out. We have thousands of murderers. We want to get them out. We want to get them out now. We don't want to have other bad people coming into our country, but using the word bad, I'm being nice.
But the media smells a distraction, trying to make the travel ban all about Elon Musk's recent criticisms of President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The other obvious reason for announcing the travel ban tonight that will take effect on Monday is to turn our attention away from Elon Musk's war on Donald Trump.
Trump has issued a travel ban, and I think that is very effective for this president in terms of changing the direction of headlines.
The president made a series of announcements just yesterday going after former President Biden, announcing this, certainly knowing that it would change the topic.
Speaking of which, President Trump is responding to Musk.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate. I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. He actually went up in campaign for me. I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway.
Oh, boy, but Musk is firing back quite a lot on X, and it continues right now. It all started with this post that said, quote, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Greg?
Yes.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I think what you're seeing is a battle between the purist and the pragmatist. I don't like it. I want it to stop. I want to tell them, if they're both watching, knock it off. We're done with this. This is an incredible moment for our country. It's awake. It's optimistic. It's on board with the golden age. Don't sabotage it with a self-inflicted feud. You know, don't let the Dems get back up from the floor where they belong. You know, you got two really successful people, billionaires, and they both, I guess, have egos, but they also have different ways of seeing things. The great thing about this is we all see it. This is an incredibly transparent administration. This isn't a bug in the system. This is the system. So I want you to compare this system to the one, you know, that ended in 2020. Would you take a forceful president and a billionaire publicly feuding in public, you know, over an invalid president, you know, who was kept hidden from the public, leaving the country without a leader? I'll take this any day. At least I know what's going on and I can somewhat enjoy it, but I want him to stop. I've had it. This is like, it's like, I don't want to see my parents fighting. I just want them to get back to, I like Batman and Robin. I don't like spy versus spy. Can I talk, just finish up on all the outrage over the travel ban and stuff? This is a collision between adult actions and childish ideals. You know, the hysterics have gone without adult supervision for so long, and the muscle of deterrence have atrophied. They don't know what it's like. That's why every time Trump takes an adult action, it's like a big bucket of ice water on their head. But the travel bans, the deportations, the criminal roundups, these are a course correction necessary after 4 years of children running the candy store, doling out benefits and cash to everybody. They happily forfeited the adult role to be basically a global Santa Claus. I mean, you could have protected the country. This wouldn't have happened, but now the adults are in charge.
You know, Kayleigh, do you see this as a big distraction from all the good work that this administration has been able to do up to date? Will this only distract from any of those moments?
I don't see it as a distraction. Yes, the liberal media will go nuts over this. They have been all week. But this was predictable. You have the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and the most powerful man in the world, President Donald Trump. For this to work, the richest man in the world would have had to subjugate his ego to the most powerful man, because guess who the American people elected? The man sitting behind the resolute desk you are looking at. And Elon Musk, he did a lot of good. He brought attention to spending, to cutting spending. No one wants to touch that issue. He touched it, and there was a lot of personal backlash. He lost value in his companies. He got death threats. But ultimately, President Trump is the one who won the election. And for Elon Musk to say, I won Trump this election, President Trump won all of the swing states. He is the first person in the Republican Party to win the popular vote in 20 years. He had the highest raw vote total of any Republican nominee ever in the history of the party, increased double digits over the last 4 years among Latinos, Black, and young people. No amount of money bought that. What bought that was a movement. And Elon Musk had to decide, I'm either going to fold into this or go away from this. And he chose to go away from this. I think it's a sad thing to see. I agree with you, Greg. I don't want to see the adults fighting, but I do think this was predictable.
Well, Harold, what are your Democrat friends saying about what looks like a breakup at the moment?
So, Sandra, I'm glad you're here and glad Kayleigh's here. My Democrat friends are disappointed too. No one wants to see this. I don't think this is a Democrat or Republican thing. We should just call it for what it is. The adults are not in charge. The president did benefit from Mr. Musk. If you go back and replay and we talk about the things that we say on this show, we were right on border security. We were right on the cognitive decline of the president. And we thought we were right about this relationship with the two of them. I'm hoping, I agree with you, this is not a partisan thing, but I hope they're able to repair this. For the richest person in the world who happens to live in America and has dual citizenship, I think, but here in South Africa, and for the president of the United States who had a relationship a year ago, they were the greatest of pals. And for the world to see this is just simply not a good thing. Two, he said two things, Mr. Musk did, and the president said another thing, but Mr. Musk said, that he was responsible for this win and responsible for the Senate and the House. It's interesting the way he said that. I don't know if I agree with him on that. I think you make a good point, Kayleigh, but we're going to see what he means by that. Then he said something else. He said, the president's only around for 3.5 years. I'm around for 40 years. Now, I take that to mean to those in politics, Democrat and Republican, that I'm going to be a kingmaker, continue to be a kingmaker in politics. And then the president said that he would cancel some of the contracts, that the way to save money would be to cancel contracts. I've never been one to think that the president was totally consumed by revenge and retribution. Not in my party, and others have said it. I think at times he's human. He's got flesh, so he wants to punch back at people who punch him. But why, if you really believe, we said 8 weeks ago, 12 weeks ago on this show that but for Elon, we wouldn't have a space program. But for Elon Musk, we might not have the ability to communicate around the globe like we do. And certainly Ukrainians wouldn't have been able to do what they did against Russia, but for Starlink. I've sat on this show and we bragged about his prowess as a technologist. So I just hope to Greg's points, I agree with you. I hope they're able to dial this back and de-escalate, because we may be motivated by different reasons, but I don't like it because it's not good for the country. It's not good for how we look around the globe. But I got to tell you, there are some of my Democratic friends, Sandra, who are saying, let them fight. Just like they're just going with the old political kind of thing. My enemy, if my enemy is fighting with the enemy, then it's okay. And then remember, Elon was a Democrat for a long time. So, and last, I don't mind the travel ban, but I do. It's interesting that Egypt is not a part of it. And the guy was from Egypt in Colorado. And as we talked about before, I wish they'd start tracking people who want to learn how to build Molotov cocktails online. If you go and try to build a bomb, we should know who you are. I can't buy Robitussin at a drugstore without presenting ID and being on camera. How can you go online to learn how to build a Molotov cocktail and we don't track you?
Jesse, I wonder if this means Harold's friends will start buying Teslas again.
Good question.
They never stopped.
And maybe Trump will torch the one that Musk gave him. Sometimes when you're angry, you say things you don't mean. Greg mocked my hair last week, and I said he's on the Epstein list.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't mean that. I made it up.
How did you know, though?
How did Musk know? No one knows what the list is. He didn't know. But sometimes guys fight. Guys sometimes will punch you in the face, and the next night you're having a beer. Sleep with your girlfriend, and you patch things up.
Really?
Not your wife, your girlfriend.
Who are your friends? Yeah.
No one slept with my girlfriend, let's put it that way.
Oh, my word.
These guys are like roommates. They were living in close quarters for like the first 6 months of the year. They're just blowing off steam. The issue is donor maintenance. This guy's the mega donor. So you don't want him accusing you of being a pedophile, and you don't want him calling for your impeachment. I hope he doesn't mean that, but maybe they can patch things up. I mean, Vance called Trump Hitler, and he's on the ticket. My issue is that the media said that Musk was the co-president. He doesn't look like the co-president anymore. The media said Trump was doing favors for Elon Musk. Well, if you look at this big, beautiful bill, there's no favors for Elon Musk in it at all. Now, the big, beautiful bill, now he's got a beef with it. These are the things that Trump ran on and won on. Wall, ICE skies so you could do mass deportations, military, F-35 ships, pay raises for the troops, and tax relief for everybody, no tax on tips. These are the things that won him the election. He didn't run on balancing the budget. So this is the priority right now. You have 4 years to balance the budget. Yeah, there's a lot of pork in this thing. There's always a little pork, all right? But this is not a spending bill. This is the signature piece of Donald Trump's second term. This may be the last major piece of legislation Trump ever passes. Well, he might have 3 terms, but for now, we're saying this is it. Now, I don't like the fact that he said that he won the election. This guy got shot, popped back right up. Exactly. He won all the swing states. He was always ahead in the polls. The money was great. Trust me, the money helped. Thank you, Elon Musk. But if money wins elections, Kamala should have coasted. She had twice the cash. And if money wins elections, then Elon should have been able to win those seats in Wisconsin. So Trump so far has taken the high road. I think Elon right now, think about it.
Yes.
I thought he was going to call him a drug addict about an hour ago. He hasn't called him that yet.
Let's see.
I think Trump should just take the high road, let Elon blow off some steam. They're both powerful men, great men, and they'll patch it up.
The night is young, that is for sure. President Trump saying he is disappointed Musk has criticized the big, beautiful bill as Musk takes the fight to X.
And now it's getting personal. Fox News team coverage. Kim Strassel joins us in just moments.
But we begin with senior national correspondent Rich Edson. He's live from the White House for us. So, Rich, what an exciting day there. It looks like Musk has taken this fight to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's still ongoing thanks to the social media platform he's owned. Musk has been responding to the comments that President Trump just made a short while ago in there. At least for the visitor in person, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, he seems to so far have had a good visit. Trump even praised his communication skills, asking if his German was as good as his English. So they had the Oval Office session, lasted about 45 minutes between the two world leaders. They, and by they I mean largely President Trump, discussed trade, Ukraine, and the Biden administration. The president also criticized Elon Musk, who has strongly opposed the Republicans' big, beautiful bill. Trump says Musk only opposes it because Congress is cutting electric vehicle subsidies.
He never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape, he said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next.
Well, Musk was watching and responded, whatever. Keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way. He's still going on X. He says, without me, Elon says, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. I can't imagine that doesn't go replied to at some point now after the president meets with the chancellor. Now, on to Ukraine in this meeting. On Ukraine, the president likened the war there as two kids that sometimes need to fight it out, but then stressed he wants to stop the killing and says if Russia is out of line, you'll be amazed at how tough he can be. Merz noted that Ukraine is targeting Russian military positions while Russia is targeting Ukrainian civilians. A lot going on. John and Sandra, back to you.
As always, Rich Edson, thank you. John?
All right, let's dig a little deeper on all of this. Kim Strassel is a Wall Street Journal opinion columnist and a Fox News contributor. I was going to start with foreign policy, but I think we have to start with personal relationships here. This is what set it all off, this back and forth now between Trump and Musk in the Oval Office. Listen here.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate. I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
So after the president said that, Musk shot back. What are you talking about? Nobody ever told me about the bill. I had no idea what was in it. It was passed in the middle of the night. Nobody got a chance to look at it before it went through the voting procedure in the House. But, I mean, I was joking with Sandra. Whoever had in their bingo card that these two would split up? I think just about everybody.
You know what? I actually did have it on my bingo card, John, or at least an upset like this, because the thing you got to know about Elon Musk is he is famous for speaking his mind. And look, that's why I think Trump is maybe incorrect about what has inspired him to do this. I would argue that he kept his peace while he was officially working still on Doge. And then when he was released from that, he felt more capable of being honest. But I get his frustration, too, by the way. I mean, he supported these Republicans in part because of their willingness on the campaign trail to say that they were going to roll back Joe Biden's spending blowout. He then devotes 5-6 months of his life to Doge and trying to cut waste and spending, and he was very clear that that's why he did it. He was very worried about America's financial picture. And then we have this Republican bill, and by the way, I am as happy as anyone that the tax provisions will stop a tax hike. But the spending cut provisions in it are really pathetic. He's saying something that's pretty obvious. Republicans have not really backed up their rhetoric. They're not doing much on the spending side, and that's what provoked him to come out and say this.
You know, I should point out, when after Trump said, I'm very disappointed in Elon, I've helped Elon a lot, Elon fired back in a reply to somebody else to say, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. And then he tagged that by saying such ingratitude. As Rich Edson was saying, I mean, you can count down from 10 for the Trump response to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's very accurate either, what Elon just put out. I think that Donald Trump, I mean, he certainly enjoyed the money, and I think that there was definitely a benefit to having that kind of a benefactor behind them as a money machine. But the fundamentals of this election went a lot deeper than just the cash flow. And if you want proof of that, look for the fact that Democrats still outspent Republicans by and large, and they still lost the election.
So where do you think this goes in the future now? I mean, if you take a look at Musk, he was beloved on the left. They loved him for his electric vehicles. Then he became a pariah of the left. Republicans began to embrace him, but I think that his popularity with Republicans pales in comparison to those of Donald Trump. So who's going to be the odd person out here, Musk or Trump?
Well, look, I'd like to hope that Republicans decide to view this for what it is, which I would argue is it's pretty constructive criticism. I mean, put aside the green tax credits, and Musk is wrong on that. Like, if we're going to get rid of handouts and we're going to get rid of government waste, that should be included in the pot. But he's trying to say, look, you need to really make a bigger hit at spending cuts here. If they took that constructive advice, by the way, they'd come out of this with a better bill and be able to do more for the economy as well, too. And then, because this relationship is good, look at all the ideas and the energy he brought to this Department of Government Efficiency project in Washington. This is the kind of fresh thinking the GOP can benefit from. He's got a big following. A lot of people are energized by it. I think that this would be a relationship both sides have a benefit to repairing at this point.
Well, the end of this bromance is going to be a messy one because they both have very big megaphones. Kimberly, thanks for switching topics on us so quickly. Appreciate it.
Let's do a fact check. We'll bring in Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn, serves on the Senate Finance Committee. He also met with the president last night. Sir, thank you for taking time with us. This big blow up between the president and Elon Musk, which, you know, everybody and their mom saw coming, has finally happened.
Yeah, I think, I'm glad that President Trump brought Elon Musk on board to head up Doge. And that's now going to be a permanent part of our conversation here. Everybody knows the federal government's too big, too bloated, and inefficient. And Elon pointed that out in great detail. But now we have a bigger responsibility, that is to keep the government running. And we need to follow up on the promises that we made during the campaign. President Trump did on no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. And we need to prevent a multi-trillion-dollar tax increase, which would occur if we do nothing. And then finally, and I think Elon would agree with this, we need to begin the process of chipping away at our national debt by finding savings where we can. And that's what this big, beautiful bill is all about.
The bigger problem, Senator, with this blow-up is it's not just about the salacious back and forth between the two. It really highlights the reality that the whole time Elon Musk was employed by the White House, he had this huge conflict of interest. He had a direct hand in shaping the policies that would affect his companies.
Well, I don't think the richest man in the world is too worried about this particular bill. And I think his intentions were very positive. But now our job as the elected representatives of the states and of our various congressional districts are to work with the president to keep the promises that were made that led to the president's election on November the 5th and our majorities in the Congress. And we'll be judged by our performance by the voters in our respective states. But I, for one, believe it's important to, number one, keep our promises, and I know President Trump feels the same. I know it would be devastating to see a multi-trillion-dollar tax increase, and I think this is the first opportunity in my time in the Senate to actually begin to bend the cost curve, to reduce deficits, and to find some savings, because we are on an unsustainable path. I think we would all agree to that.
Even the president, though, sir, has had to compromise. I mean, by his own admission, he has said, let's not make the perfect the enemy of the good. We want to push this bill forward because it has some cuts. But isn't it a disappointment?
Well, I think government is hard. It's different than running a business. And the reason is you got to get 215 votes in the House and 51 in the Senate. And we have senators across the political spectrum, even within the Republican Party, and we have to find consensus. But the good news is that what the House did, I think, is by and large going to be built on in the Senate. We're going to try to make it better. I'd love to see some more savings to deal with this debt problem that I think, again, Elon, the president, we all agree with. But this is not the end. President Trump made clear yesterday at the White House that he intends to make this a multi-year effort. And so this is the first step, but not the last step. And I think we all agree with that and are happy to know that is how the president plans this to be completed in coming years and on coming votes.
I think we're going to see if we can get you a T-shirt made up that says "Government is hard," because that was a great line, sir. We wish you all the best going forward with this. Thank you for taking time with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Jillian.
All right, we are getting some reaction to the back and forth with Elon Musk and President Trump. President Trump has now responded to Elon Musk on his Truth Social account, and he posted this. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. John, there are more coming in after that, but this obviously a clear response to Elon Musk, who's been tweeting away since the president's words in the Oval Office in the noon hour.
Yeah, more from President Trump on Truth Social, including this. And this really, I mean, this is Lexington and Concord here. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. One of those contracts is a contract worth about $15 billion between SpaceX and NASA. Of course, SpaceX sending supplies up to the International Space Station, the whole Starship project. I mean, you ever watch those old Bugs Bunny cartoons?
Yes.
Yeah, where Bugs Bunny said, I guess you know, this means war. Yeah, I think that's where we are right now.
You know, I'm looking, and Elon Musk had been pretty busy tweeting away since the president shared his words about their relationship in the Oval Office. And a lot of it obviously was the insistence that this is too much spending, too much pork. And Elon even chose to post past videos and words of the president, perhaps suggesting that this is a different person than he was before and things that he said before. But this is a back and forth that's getting pretty fierce, John.
You know, a lot of people expected that this relationship was not going to last very long, but I don't think a lot of people thought that it would go up in a fireball that rivals the destruction of the Starship in the atmosphere. And this is probably just the beginning as well. I mean, it's getting ugly, and we'll keep watching this. The President of the United States and the world's richest man, I don't know if they're on speaking terms, but they're sure on social media posting terms, because they are going at each other. Well, I'll leave it for other people to characterize how they're going at each other. I've seen some things online characterizing it, but I expect that this feud, which could rival the Hatfields and McCoys, is going to go on for a while.
We'll keep covering it. We'll be right back.
Elon Musk ramping up his criticism of President Trump's big, beautiful bill. Senior correspondent Chad Perram is here with the latest. Good morning, Chad.
Jackie, good morning. Republicans are exasperated with Musk's opposition. He wants to kill the big, beautiful bill, and he demands that lawmakers write a new one. House Speaker Mike Johnson is mystified why Musk did a 180.
Elon wants us to go back to the drawing board. There is no time to do that. He has the largest platform in the world, right? The most followers, so I'm sure that has an impact. But it's not going to change the trajectory of this legislation, because the Republicans in the House and the Senate understand what we must do.
Top GOP leaders met with President Trump at the White House about the bill yesterday. The president still supports the plan. The clash sets up a big, ugly brawl over the big, beautiful bill. Republicans say they have a choice.
It's a distraction, but this is just the nature of this town. It doesn't upset me any. I think they have a choice of going against Trump or Musk.
Democrats now find themselves cheering for Musk as they try to sidetrack the bill. Still, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said Musk is, quote, not my cup of tea. Jackie?
All right, Chad Perram, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.